What is up? Welcome back to Cross-Running, the only no-filter moto pod out there. I'm your host, Aric Nichols, and with me, as always, I got my three co-hosts this week. First off, starting off, CJ, welcome back. How's it going?
How's it going? How's it going? Week 3.
Next, Justin Reese. What's up, Justin?
What's up, guys? Good racing
A-
this week.
Absolutely. And then he missed last week. He's back this week. What's up, Zach?
You all know it. Number 471. Keep that number in your hearts and minds, babies. I'm out here.
All right. Well, boys, we had a hell of a San Diego, San Diego round. Both classes were absolutely, super exciting. Quite a few stories as well, before the gates even drop. But first off, I just want to jump into it, CJ. The track layout. What do you think of San Diego track layout?
I thought that it was unreal good. I thought that it was awesome that they left that giant quad. I think we all kind of talked off the podcast how we saw them hitting that 3-4, and that we thought for sure they were going to change the track with how giant it was. And the fact that they left that in and they let the field just go wild with it was, I think it was badass. The racing was they made for really really good racing.
Absolutely, Justin. What do you think?
I agree. I think that triple quad, the rhythm sections were sick. I think the whole track, the way the switchbacks came across the start were sick. I really like the track layout. I think the before the thick, I think we need more of that before finishes instead of just a right hand turn, 10 feet and go lip. Having that rhythm section really made them have to get a good coming out of that in order to get that first.
Absolutely. And then Zach, we had a sand section. It was also a split section, but that might have been the best split section I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I thought the track was much more raceable than A1. As you saw, Tomac blow Jet's doors off around the outside there. It's kind of I don't want to say embarrassing, but I mean carries so much more speed around that outside. Kind of blew right past him. So I think the track in general was much more raceable. If you didn't hit that triple quad, it was definitely a big deal. So I mean, overall track layout much better than A1.
Absolutely. And then Zach, heading into qualifying once again, absolute banger back and forth, both classes. But the story was Joe Shimoda's hand. What was your takeaway with that whole incident?
You know, no one knows whose pit board he hit. I
Cody
did see
Scott.
the
Cody
pictures
Scott.
of the aftermath. At first, I thought he was being a little bit of a puss, but after I saw the pictures, I'm like, you know what? He kind of took a dinger there. It's pretty good deal. But as they say, qualifying is not everything. So I know few people struggled during the main, which I don't want to throw out names there, but kind of makes me look like a dumbass when I said that he was gonna,
Oh, we'll get there. We'll
take
get
the
there.
yeah. But qualifying's not everything. So with Joe hitting that pit board, it kind of threw a little hiccup in the mix for him. Kind of sucks to see. Kind of would like to see where he was at without that mishap, but things happen. So
And then CJ, how do you think that whole scenario was handled? We didn't really know who it was, find out through the cracks that it was Club MMX, but do you think HRC handled it the right way by just kind of keeping it hush hush?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm guessing it must have been just a weird racing incident, qualifying incident. It doesn't sound like there was any ill intent. Otherwise, I think Honda would have made it a big deal. I mean, the only reason anyone found out it was Cody Schock's mechanic was just through comments and other people that were there. So whatever happened, who really knows? No one has any video of it, but obviously, it couldn't have been anything that was too crazy. I mean, it seems like it was just a super bizarre accident because Honda was, I mean, they were very, very classy about it. They could have easily fucking blown Yamaha and Club MX up and made it a big deal, and they didn't. So,
Yeah, and Justin, were you the one that was DMing Duffy, talking shit, saying that he was the one that did it? Was that you?
Fuck, I
But yeah, no, very crazy. We'll talk about how Shimoda finished as well. Very impressive. My question is, how bad is it? Are we going to see him come back, or is he going to have to get surgery? And that's going to be it for Shimoda. But the 450s were awesome too. At one point, the top three were not even a thousandth of a second off. Really awesome. But Zach, what do you think? Does it bring more excitement to qualifying when you see the top three guys just going lap for lap for lap, and they're just all running that same pace?
Oh, obviously, I mean, it makes you feel like there's hope to see, a three-way battle in the main event. I think that's what every fan, dreams of is to see Eli, Jet, and Sexton running up front in the main event and see what they can actually throw down when the time actually comes to it. But just that little bit of confidence going into the heat races and the mains with, hey, I just bested your lap. Can you best mine, and going back and forth and back and forth. It's just pushing that envelope a little bit more, and that ceiling a little bit higher each time. So there's no doubt in my mind that it kind of gets me more excited than just sitting seeing a boring qualifying of one guy just throwing down every lap, and there not being any kind of um,
A
someone
competition.
challenging them. Yeah, any competition or anything like that. So it's definitely nice to see that.
And CJ, you had a new nickname for Sexton out there, huh?
Yeah, captain qualifier number 16 P1 qualifier, and so far of 16 P1 qualifiers, he's been able to turn 7 of those into wins or 8 of those into wins. And I don't know. I mean, it's cool. Yeah, he qualifies really well. I just like Zach said. I don't think qualifying is everything, as we've seen. Sexton has put it up on the top of the box time and time again, and doesn't get it done at the end of the night. So I mean, there's only so much. I mean, look at Eli. Eli rarely ever finishes P1 in qualifying, and the guy's 3 or 4 on the all-time win list. I mean, it's good. I think it was good to see Jet back up there again. Jet running fast laps. I mean, I think it put some confidence back in all of his fans that he's still got it. He's starting to figure out the bike. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him. We just saw a little bit of a weird Jet there at A1. But yeah, I don't know. Captain qualifier is going to be captain qualifier, and if he puts it together or not is always a risk.
And Justin, Captain Qualifier, he hasn't been that since, 2023 on the Honda. So it's nice seeing Sexton get up there and putting some heaters on that new KTM.
Yeah, it's good to see he looks a lot more comfy this year than he does last year. You can just tell that just from A1 and even San Diego. Came through the pack, pretty quick, but yeah, he looks a lot better on this KTM this year than he did last year. He sounds a lot more confident, a lot better, and he's showing that kind of that raw speed that he had when he was on the Honda. So hopefully he can translate it into some more wins and keep it consistent.
All right. And then, before we dive into the heat races, we were talking about, who has some of the best kits out there this weekend, Zach? Who stood out to you as far as their kit?
To be honest, man, I was digging Jordan Smith's kit. That blue and
Really?
yellow. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm kind of a fan of the FXR gear. That blue and yellow, definitely look good. The Star Boys, obviously, with that blue and yellow Thor gear. Deegan's helmet looks sick on top of that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, quite a few guys out there. Joe Shimoda too.
Yeah.
I was loving that red on yellow, and kind of flowing with the bike and look good. So.
Yeah, I think the Triumph looks a little busy to me with all their yellow that they have and that gear on top of it. But Justin, who do you think had a nice kit out there?
I think maybe the best kit was Stewart's. That 7 gear, that white gear, was sick. Prado had a pretty cool gear. Barsha's gear was pretty sick. I'd probably have to say Malcolm though. Malcolm number 1. That 7 gear was just clean, simple. Had a little bit of blue and pink in it. It was sick.
To,
Absolutely. And
to
then
be
CJ, I
honest,
think
if
you were kind of the same, right? You're a big fan of Malcolm's.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was 3 of them that kind of stood out above, and I've mentioned all of them. To me, it was Mookie, Prado, and Shimoda. I think Shimoda's all red and Mookie's all white was just something about that solid color head to toe just looks badass. And then Prado's pink and white and green just I don't know, just kind of puts that retro Bubba style on the new era of moto, and I think it just looks clean.
No, yeah, absolutely. All right, so diving into the heat races, a couple of surprise winners heading into the heat races. CJ, what do you think about Heat 1? Mark Spakes getting that win, and then Cole Davies getting his first heat win.
Honestly, I'm not surprised Marchbanks won. I mean, I think he looked just as good at A1. He fell down in third place. The dude looks like he's there to compete. Um, and there really wasn't much else for competition in that heat. That heat was kind of a little mellow there. And then heat two with Davies getting out front and Deegan kind of not really being there. I think that was Deegan was in that heat, right?
With Davies, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, on Davies, I mean, he just continues to impress me, and the announcers and the guys at the test track, they all keep saying that the guy just learns super easily, and that he's the fastest guy at the test track a lot of the days, and I mean, he's showing it. I mean, he's coming out there as a rookie that was just barely racing futures last year, and he is showing that he can ride with all these guys.
Absolutely. Justin, what about you? Anything that stood out to you as far as either of the 250 heats?
I gotta back CJ on this. Davies. I mean, the dude just. I mean, 17 years old. I mean, last week in his heat, he was running up front. This week he wins it. He might contend for a win in the main, maybe. I could see it definitely happen. Something happens to these front guys, and I think Davies could stay right there. I mean, throughout the main event, he charged the whole time. In the heat race, he was very impressive. So Davies has got to be the most impressive guy coming out of that heat, and of the night, I think.
All right. And Zach, how about you? Anything as far as the heats that really kind of stood out? Is Mark Spakes, is it just like, hey, whatever, he just happened to be in the weakest heat of the two, or is he sending a message saying, hey, I can still run up here?
It's kind of tough to say because he did have a great showing in the heat race. I thought it was awesome that he ran up front the whole time. And then you get in the main, and I feel like it's almost like a mindset that these guys, if they don't get a start, they kind of just hang out right there.
Start
It's hard to describe because like I mean, we've seen Sexton this week. They get a last place start and they march up to fifth place, sixth place. In the 250 class, it seems like these guys they kind of stay stagnant. As bad as to say, but good on Cole Davies, man. I mean, he looked great in that heat race. Halfway through the main, he looked great up front, withstanding some hardcore pressure from Juju. I thought that was awesome. It's a great learning experience for him, and I can't wait to see more out of the kid. I think he's going to be a real star up in the up and coming future, and I wouldn't put it past him to maybe contend for a win. Later on down in the series. But I mean, obviously everything's a learning curve. We kind of look like he got gassed out a little bit after holding off Juju for so long, but it's only going to go up from here. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then we kind of touched on it, Deegan's crash, shout out to the kid, he was absolutely on rails, hauling ass, and then goes through those whoops, loses it, almost takes out both of his fucking teammates head on. Luckily saves the bells out, but Deegan just continues to have these mishaps in Supercross, and we'll talk about more to the mains. Heading over to the 450 heats, Zach, we had Jet and Eli both take the win. Did anything stand out to you as far as the 450 heats?
no, I mean, obviously the two guys that won the heats are the two guys that were running up front. To be honest, I mean, they were the only two. Maybe if Sexton had a better start, that were running that pace. So I mean, nothing really stands out as far as who positioned where, but I mean, the two guys that were up front in the main event were leading both heat races, so it's kind of plain and simple right there. But
Yeah, and Justin, he touched on, Sexton, but, you know, Sexton kind of got held up by Vince Freeze, those first couple of laps that allowed Tomac to really kind of take off. But, did anything else stand out to you as far as the heat races?
Not much, really. Excuse me. Tomac did put a pretty big gap just for a heat race. I think Tomac came out of that heat, or came into that heat with something to prove. I think last week he felt like he gave that win away. I think A1 last week was Tomac's win if he doesn't tuck that front. So I think he came into that heat with aggressive and attitude and wanted to prove something and put a couple second gap right away. Like you said, Sexton did get held back a little bit by Freeze, but Tomac would. I think he just set the tone right away.
No, absolutely. And then CJ, I'm surprised he didn't get touched yet, but Prado went to the LCQ.
Yeah, that was actually what I was gonna touch on there. Prado missed qualifying by one position, and I don't know. I mean, I want to see him do well. He's a world champion. I think he has the talent. He's just I don't know. He's got to put it together. He looked great in the LCQ. But yeah, that was a struggle in the heat. I thought Hunter looked a lot better in his heat, especially they were talking about him not feeling well or whatever is wrong with him. I thought that he looked a lot better than he did at A1. It seems like he has, I don't know, some nerve issues or something coming into the season. He had problems he went to the LCQ at A, or he didn't even make it at
Yep.
A1 last year, and then this year at A1 we saw him have more problems and look terrible. And I thought that he rebounded out of everybody. Um, I thought, uh, I thought Hunter and Mookie both looked a lot better this weekend for me in the heat races.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Big steps for them. As far as the LCQ, you kind of touched up on it. Prado got an absolute killer start and just kind of checked out. Um, Nothing really on the 250 LCQ that really stood out. I know there was a lot of wrecks in
Oh,
that
some
rhythm
people almost
section.
died almost though.
Red
Yeah,
flag. That
Yeah,
you.
red flag and broken femur and
Yeah.
that crash by Avery Long would look nasty. Supposedly, I guess he got out of the hospital with just banged up, but that crash looked like, that looked like a back injury written all over it. That looked nasty, and he looked good. I thought he looked really good in his heat. He almost qualified straight out of his heat. So that's unfortunate for him. Hopefully, he's able to recover and get back out on the bike.
Yeah, Avery Long. I'm honestly glad to see him racing, or at least was racing Supercross and lined up for A1. Because for the last few years, he's been really progressing through the amateur ranks. Loretta's, he did a really good showing in Open Pro. Mini O's, he went and won Open Pro, and then that Yamaha team, that YSA Yamaha or whatever, shut down. So he didn't have no ride or anything like that. That amateur Yamaha team. So it's cool to see him at least get picked up, but a bummer for him to yard sell like that and crash or whatever. Because I thought he looked good. A1, he put in a pretty impressive ride, and yeah, all of AEO KTM, they had a bad night.
no, absolutely. And Zach, Talon Hawkins also had that nasty wreck going
Broken
into that rhythm section as well.
a broken
Yeah,
femur.
that's what I was gonna bring up is from the looks of the crashes, looked like Avery Long had the worst of it. However, Talon Hawkins ended up with a broken femur, and Avery Long sounds
Mhm.
like he just knocked his head a little bit. So it'd be nice to see them back in. I know that Talon Hawkins kind of had been having a rough go at it. He was kind of one of the guys coming up through the amateur ranks that we thought was going to be, at least a contender. Looked like he had quite a bit of a career ahead of him. He's going through a rough patch right now, and hopefully he can get back on it. But yeah, definitely a couple scary crashes for the OKTM team, and all the best for him. Privateer efforts are what makes the sport go around. So give it up for both of them, and hopefully they're seeing back pretty soon.
No, absolutely. And that rhythm section ended up being a problem as we head into the 250 main. Uh, Masterpool comes back ready to go, hops over to the West Coast, absolutely yard sells it on that quad, and that's it. I mean that might be a season there, Zach.
Yeah, I to be honest, man, it looks like he busted his teeth up pretty good there. Took the bars to the chin, and is that going to be the sound of his, Supercross career? Is he going to come up from there? Is he going to continue to do better, or is he going to be known as an outdoor guy? Kind of a rough showing for him with Mitch, and Mitch obviously has a lot about him or a lot behind him since he signed him after that privateer Kawasaki ride. And he was a fill-in last summer. But I was hoping he did, hoping he did pretty good, and it's kind of a bummer just to see him, come out here and that's his first showing. So hopefully he gets back on the horse and has a better showing for A2.
Yeah, Justin, sounds like Masterpool broke some fingers too, so who knows if he's going to be back. But do you throw Drew Adams back there, or is that, hey, that's strike number two? Let's not throw the rookie out there and make it number three.
You got to think they got to bring Adams in if Masterpool can't go. I think Pulp is the one who reported that on X that he may have broken some fingers in that crash. I think he got lucky that that's all that happened because I wasn't sure if he busted his chin, broke his jaw, because that was a pretty hard hit, like Zach said. But who knows? Pro Circuit might have to bring Adams in for sponsorship. Some of these sponsors, they want two people per round at least. We've seen some teams have to do it, sign someone just to fill a bike. So, I mean, if Master Pool can't go, what's hurting Adams to come get some experience? Tell Adams, hey, just go log the laps, do the jumps, finish. Like, don't try. If you don't make it, you don't make it. Like, just get your Supercross experience, and then we'll be ready for outdoors because I believe he's going pro no matter what outdoors. So I think it'd be a good learning experience if Master Pool can't go, and pretty much just approach him. Hey, no pressure. Like, I know you're on a PC bike, but we just need you to be out there because we ain't got no one else to cover if you get hurt.
But is
Yep.
is March is Marchbanks not enough though? I mean, he gets a heat win. I forget what he finishes in the main. Was it like
Eighth.
top 10, obviously.
Yeah,
But
eighth.
I mean, is the heat win not a good showing? I mean, do you risk your rookie out there and have
Not to
another
Mitch.
mishap? You know what I mean? I mean,
That
Yeah,
or
I
do you?
understand an eighth place is not great for Mitch, but I mean, you're kind of out of it's that PC curse everyone talks about these days. So
Well, and
what's your move
CJ,
from here?
let me ask you this. So I know you're chomping at the bit to talk about Deegan and just let us have it. But first, Adams going over and racing. Adams was battling Davies in Supercross Futures. I can't say that Adams is going to go in there and not have any pressure if as Cole Davies is out there absolutely crushing it.
Well, and I think in futures, Adams was better than Davies.
yep,
And so, I mean, who knows? It sounds like Davies went to the test track, in the off season and put in some serious work. So, I mean, is Adams on Davies level now? I don't know, but in futures last year, he was the man.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely.
But the
It's
other
going to be
thing
interesting.
too is the other thing about that bike though is like, or do you just put somebody on that bike? I mean, you got Hunter Yoder's out there ripping. Hunter Yoder's
Hmm.
riding a Kawasaki and he's fucking shredding. You could put him on a bike and have a similar showing to Marchbanks at some of these nights.
yep.
I still think you give that right to Adams. He's your new up and comer star. If you don't give him that and you do get to Yoder, if anything, that's going to make Adams look like he's not ready. If you're going to
Yeah,
go
I
give
mean,
this bike to Yoder and not give it to your prodigy coming up, and that's saying, hey, all right, Adams must be struggling over here on the Supercross track.
yeah, I think it would. I think putting somebody else on the bike would only be if Mitch and whatever the Adams family or whoever's making those decisions says no, he's not there. It's not worth it. He's not ready. Yeah, I think the number one choice, and at least for the fan base and for us, we would love to see Adams go out there and see what he's got with these guys. But if they don't think he's ready, I think it would be awesome to throw somebody like Yoder or give somebody that's riding a backyard fucking Kawasaki a PC bike and just whatever. I mean, I think he could go out there and get eighth place like Marchbanks did. I mean, Hunter Yoder, he's been impressive to me.
Yeah, no, he's a great starter too. What else? I have Hunter Yoder on here as well. 10th, he did good last week too. What else stood out to you here in this 250 main?
Oh well, for
Let it cook,
starters,
let it cook, CJ.
I think for starters is fucking Deegan over there popping off every chance he gets is starting to get humbled. I mean, the guy is racing people that have proven absolutely nothing. I mean, we got. Don't get me wrong. There's talent. Julian Bomer, the Havasu kid, AZ repping. That you can't take anything away from him. He absolutely rips. But looking, outside looking in on paper, Deegan should be winning every single one of these races by 15 seconds, and he is yet to stand on top of the box. And honestly, I thought that was an absolutely embarrassing race, and I think he even said it there at the end on the podium. But he passed Cole Thompson. He started in like eighth or ninth place. It took him 4 laps to get around Cole Thompson, and then the only reason he ever moved up from there was everybody crashed. Bourdon crashed, Ryder DeFrancisco crashed, Cole Davies crashed, Joe Shimoda is riding with four fingers, and he got up to third place. I mean, I thought it was an absolute joke. Like you got I don't know. I thought that it was embarrassing. I think that the guys that are just living so high on Deegan, yes, he rips. Like he absolutely rips. We saw it in qualifying. We saw it in his heat. But he has yet to put it together, and he is just yard sale after yard sale after yard sale, and he almost got his head ripped off by his own teammate. I mean, he I don't know. He's got to figure something out. I mean, it sounds like even his dad is telling him, "Hey, you need to go out there and ride at 90%, and you could still win." I don't know if it's a mental thing that he's got to figure out, but he's starting to look like young James Stewart out there, just riding off the rails. And I mean, you cannot hit the ground that many times before you get hurt. Like it's bound to happen. He has to pull it together and figure out how to stay on two wheels, or he's going to get hurt.
Right. And then on the opposite spectrum, Zach, we'll go over to you because we know me and you are big on the Deegan trade. Now, hey, he had the fastest lap of the night. So there is still hope for Deegan.
You know, the 250 Captain Qualifier over there, I'm gonna give him that title now because he's making me eat my crow this week. I wasn't there last week's episode, so I couldn't come out and fully say it, but I really thought that he was the guy to beat in this 250 West Coast. Aric, you called a full on sweep. We are now round two, and just two kind of ugly showings, I guess. You know what I mean? You can be the fastest qualifier all you want, or throw up fast times, but you know he just looks like his starts aren't dialed. It's a short series. He's got to get it together, man.
The kid got his
250 main
ass
event
clapped
though.
by Jordan Smith.
I thought
Yep.
that Juju Beaumer, the dude looked like a veteran out there. Absolutely stunning showing from him. He was pushing Cole Davies. You know, I thought for sure he was gonna force a pass, but he kind of let the pass come to him. You know, made a good move, made a good clean move, and just continued on and rode like a vet. I mean, it looked like he'd been out there. This, you know, did not look like that was his first win. Stoked for the kid from Havasu, kind of our local town here. But I mean, from that, Jordan Smith with two you know, consecutive runs. What did he get?
Third and
3-2 now.
Yeah, 3-2. So
Yeah.
I mean, good on him. He's kind of showing he's right there. I don't know how he'd do with a stacked field. Like the East Coast is looking pretty stacked, but you know, I just think if you're Hayden Deegan right now, you're kind of sweating. Like, you know, are you only an outdoor guy? Like, what is your deal? You know, you kind of gotta pick that together and figure out what's going on. And you're year three now, so you gotta start picking it up. So
No, absolutely. Justin, you know, I think the most impressive thing about Juju's ride is that he wasn't hitting that quad. He didn't have to hit the quad, and he still won, and it was still impressive. Even with Cole Davies sending it in front of him every time. But I mean, yeah, there's nothing bad you can say about Julian's ride.
Yeah, I said it in our first episode. I think Juju's going to be the dark horse for the championship and be a dark horse in this championship. And I said Deegan's going to be the one that, and I mean, it's his title to lose, and he's just losing it. He's throwing it away. And Juju's just being Mr. Consistency. He's getting a good start. He's, you know, funneling in. It seems like Zach said. He kind of just funneled behind Davies like he did Shimoda last week. And he kind of just kept that constant pressure on him. And, you know, Davies eventually kind of made that little mistake to allow Beaumer to get by. You know, Shimoda didn't make that in A1. So he couldn't capitalize on it. But once Juju got past Davies, he just put in his laps, was consistent. You know, and he didn't take that risk to do that triple quad. He saw everyone eating shit and yard selling, and he's like, if I could do this 2-3-3, you know, and just get through this rhythm section and not have to worry about that, if I can hit the same lap and be consistent, that's gonna give him that title. You know, I mean, he's like Zach said, he's looking like a veteran out there. He's acting veteran. He's just being consistent. I'd love to see what his lap times were throughout the whole main because I would probably say they're within a second to 2 seconds every single lap. I don't think he made really any mistakes that main. It was very impressive, and I think Beaumer is the title favorite now. With Deegan going 5-3, I think if you know Ryder D doesn't fall, all these other guys don't fall. I think Deegan has another fifth, maybe a sixth place this weekend. It's yeah, I think Deegan's throwing it away 100%, and Beaumer might run with this.
So here, something interesting as I'm looking at this, right? So Deegan had the fastest lap time, 53.5. Julian Beaumer had 53.8, but that was the third fastest lap time. Cody
Yeah,
Schock had the second fastest lap time at a 53.7.
you
So,
know,
you know, interesting, but
That
like you
was an
said, Juju
accident.
just yeah, just logging in the last. CJ, another thing to have on here we talked about earlier, Shimoda somehow still salvages a seventh with those two mangled fingers.
Yeah, I
But
mean that like it's one of those things though. It's like I mean I think it was awesome. It was awesome that he went out there. It sucks. I think I mean that ruined his season. It would have been cool to see. There's only so much you can do. A 1-7, you got broken hand. You got a broken hand. He's not going to come out and compete with Juju and Deegan. I mean, yeah, maybe he finishes out this title fight with a top three. But I mean, it sucks to see him go out like that. I mean, it was cool. Like you love to see him have some heart. He's kind of been a baby. It seems like most of his career, at least that's kind of been the mantra behind him. So it's cool to see him with that nasty ass looking finger go out there and still ride. But kind of to what Justin said, don't get me wrong, Julian is he's our hometown boy, and he got the win, and that's a second really good showing. But he worried me. He looked like he was going to do the same thing he did at A1 when he caught up to Davies and then kind of rode behind him
hmm
for half the race. I was worried that he was gonna. I mean, he needs to. For me, Deegan's either going to get hurt or he's not going to
he's gonna
continuously
figure it
stay
out
back there.
eventually.
Yeah, he's not going to be in eighth place and allow you to take 7 laps to get around people. I think Julian has to figure out getting around these guys up front in a hurry. Like I don't think
Yeah,
he needs to ride over his head. He doesn't need to hit the ground, but you can't be taking 5, 6, 7 laps and hoping for one of the guys to make a mistake when you got someone like Deegan coming up behind you. A great showing, not taking anything away from Juju. He's a rookie, and anyone that's a rookie coming out and getting a win is, I mean, it's badass. I honestly, that was running through my head during that main was, here we go, A1 over again. He's up there. He should win this race, and he's just following him.
yeah. No, I had the same thoughts too. I'm just like, man, he was stuck behind for a while, and Juju was significantly faster than him all
Yeah.
day, but he's still stuck. And even Zach mentioned he even tried to force a pass, still couldn't make it happen, and then eventually he made it happen. So no, I had the same exact thoughts. Sita, did any rider stand out to you, good or bad, as far as that 250 main?
Hunter Yoder. I mean, I can't say enough good things about him. I think he's impressed me both weekends now. I wish somebody would give him a chance because there's a lot of these squids that keep getting chances, like Michael Mosman, who I think is a joke. Um, uh, Ryder DiFrancesco, he's impressing me. I think he looks good on that gas. I don't know what happened over there, just him hitting the gym, putting some weight on or whatever, but he looks
hmm
good. I mean, he had that fall and gave old Deegan boy YouTube sensation a gift to get up into third there. But Ryder's been looking really good to me. Hunter Yoder, I would love, man, I would fucking love to see PC put Hunter Yoder on that bike and see what he could do. But no, I think Mosiman sucks. He's gonna suck forever until he goes and rides fucking arena cross somewhere. Um, but otherwise, I mean, it was cool to see Shimoda stick it out. Uh, yeah. Other than that, Jet Reynolds has been a flop. Um,
Hey, he got a
Jordan,
13th. I had him on there as Jet Reynolds as a good ride, 13th. And remember, this is basically his you know rookie season. He's never actually finished one, but 13th for Jet Reynolds. That's a big bounce back from a 22nd
I mean,
last
yeah, it
week.
is. It is, but you're talking about a kid that came through the ranks like Adam Cincerillo, winning every fucking
Yeah.
thing he entered for Team Green. If you would have told me in 2020 or whatever it was that Jet would have been getting 13ths on the depleted 250 West Coast, I would have said you're crazy. I mean, did he get his leg cut off or something? And yeah, he just. I don't know. I mean, it sucks as he doesn't seem like he's panning out. Like it just sometimes happens when these guys go pro. But I don't know. I mean, the 13th, it's a good showing compared to what we've seen from him. But I thought that he was going to come in and start winning championships when he was an amateur.
Yeah, well, if I thought what someone I thought I heard he had basically like a lifetime PC ride or something crazy
Yeah.
along those lines. Justin, how about you? Anything else stand out to you in this 250 main?
I think what CJ said, Ryder D. I mean, the consistency. I mean, last year he was struggling to get a top 10. Now he's coming in. I mean, he had fourth. He had fourth until like the last little on off in the main, and Davies got him. I mean, he was right there, so that's pretty consistent. It's great to see Ryder D finally come around to being what we semi thought he was going to be coming out of the ring. He was another highly touted amateur coming in. Mitch doesn't give him a real chance, give him a real ride. Kind of gives him this half-ass futures, half-ass outdoors. Didn't really let him do anything, which I'm really surprised because he stuck behind Jet Reynolds forever. But yet Ryder D proved that he could at least stay healthy throughout the year, and race. So I think Ryder D very impressive. I heard Deegan say that he was struggling with arm pump. I don't know if we really heard him talk about dealing with arm pump, but is that also just a crybaby sorry ass excuse on why he got his ass fucking beat? Who knows? But yeah, I think Ryder D got it. Ryder D and Cole Davies. I mean, impressive.
Sure. Okay, hold on.
All
Sorry.
right.
So, sure, Cole Davies for sure. Impressive ride, rookie season, showing out. But Ryder D, let's take a look at this. I'm looking down this list of guys that beat him. The only two that stand out to me that have a bigger name or even a name as big as him is Joe Shimoda and Garrett Marchbanks. Everyone else he should be beating. Like, there's no shot that he should not be beating these guys. Especially with his amateur
based
career
on
that he's
what
had.
he has.
We take a look at it. Jordan Smith, Julian Beaumer, Hayden Deegan, Cole Davies, great ride on him to beat, DeFrancisco. But let's be real, like the West Coast is not stacked, and he's still getting fifth place.
You can't podium. You still can't get on the podium.
He's
Still
better than Beaumer, Smith, and Deegan.
Or, no.
Yeah, that's a crazy take.
What I'm
I
saying
would say
is
better. No.
you guys are saying he's up and come his last season and stuff like that. But if you put him on the East Coast, I guarantee you he's struggling to make top tens again.
You put
Yeah.
Deegan,
Yeah.
he ain't even gonna make a fucking top 10 with the way he's riding. He may barely make it out of a fucking heat race.
Are you talking about Deegan? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
Okay, hold on. A1, he comes from dead last to fifth place. This week. Okay, I don't care.
Won that shit.
DeFrancisco got fifth with a good start this week. What are you gonna do about that?
Yeah.
He crashed. He crashed.
Huh?
He's
crashed.
not Deegan like everyone.
It's so part of the race. It's so part of the game.
It doesn't matter. He has a good amateur name. There's no shot that he shouldn't be beating the likes of Cody Schock on a regular basis and by a lot. Like Cole Davies, very first year, he's an amateur
He's a
guy.
great starter too.
You know what I mean? Like you put him on the East Coast, he's struggling to make top tens again. So I don't see this fifth place as a good showing for him. He should be a podium guy with all the hype that he's had coming up from the amateurs.
Looking at this, I think Ryder D is exactly where he should be, batting for fifth place. He's not going to see the podium at all this year.
Oh, you're
unless
crazy.
he gets a lot of help. But
he's definitely seeing the podium.
I don't see it.
That's the point I'm trying to make, though. Is they're saying that he's having a great
Someone
ride,
clip
but
this shit because Ryder's
it's
podium.
a Ryder D ride, fifth place on a measly West Coast.
Yeah, I think he's exactly where you kind of put him, fifth place, and that's probably as good as it's going to get for him. Joe's going to be gone, so maybe a fourth, but I don't see him battling with Juju, Jordan Smith, or Hayden Deegan.
You know what, Ryder?
He's not even beating Cole Davies.
No, I mean even if he gets a whole shot and runs out front, I don't see him finishing better than fifth place in this field, and it's really a 7-8 man show on this West Coast.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So very interesting take. So my question to you, to all three of you guys, I think all four of us were all on the Deegan, hey, still the title favorite, even after last week. To me, I'm still going to lead Deegan. He's 10 points back, but we all touched on it. This is still Julian's rookie year. He's going to make it a mistake eventually, right? Cole Davies is going to make it a mistake eventually. So I still think that Deegan is still going to be the title favorite for this, just knowing that these other guys are going to end up making some kind of mistake somewhere down the road. Zach, we'll start with you. How about you? Are you still leaning Deegan for the title?
It's just hard, man. I mean, I see two consecutive, front runnings from Juju Beaumer. And then two, let's call them mishaps or flops from Deegan in a row. I don't see him. I mean, coming back, sure, he might put up a little bit of fight for the title.
Who's gonna get? Is Juju gonna get any better than what we've seen, or is Deegan gonna get better than what we've seen?
Well,
I think we're seeing the best that Juju has.
Yeah, we've seen but I mean, we've seen Juju, right? He's got two very good showings. A1 second place, like settle in for a second. There's no need to push. It's early in your short season. There's no need to push Joe Shimoda into a mistake or anything like that. Settle in for your second place. Have a good standing for your championship fight. Come out the second round and you win the second round, and look good doing it. It's hard to negate that against Deegan, who went crash in the first corner or second corner, whatever it was, and then the mid pack start to crash to come back on each race. I mean, how is he going to get it? We only have what 6-7 rounds left in the West Coast. Like, is he going to come back and win every single round? Because that's kind of what it's going to take. You know what I mean? I
I
don't
do
see
think as
anyone
we
else
get,
in the field. I don't see anyone else in the field other than maybe Jordan Smith beating Juju Bomare. So I
yeah.
mean, I think he's a podium guy the rest of the season, and I think I think Deegan's kind of treading water right now. As much as it sucks to say, because I had him as my title favorite, and I will eat that crow. But he's treading water right now. It's a short season, man. So
So
Did
do you still have him as your favorite before we go over to Justin?
I don't.
Okay.
I think Beaumare's. It's got to be Beaumare. I mean,
Okay.
you're gonna put up two ugly rides against two consistent
So we're
rides.
gonna have a rookie win his first Supercross season, the first time in I don't know how long.
Why
he
not?
raced last?
Justin, you don't think Juju's gonna make a mistake eventually down the road?
Well, Juju's not a rookie. It's his second year. He raced last year,
That's true.
so this is his second year. Um, I mean, yeah. Do I think could he make a mistake? Yes, any of them could make a mistake. But Juju just proved he's got his starts dialed. He's gotten great starts both mains, like he needs to. His starts been decent. He wasn't the best, but I mean, he's proving that he can be consistent. Getting on, he's running fast. Qualifying, he pretty much hanging there with Deegan, if not showing Deegan up. I think Deegan won that maybe qualifying. Um, so Bo Mare, yeah, I definitely think Bo Mare gets better from here. I mean, I just don't see Bo Mare throwing it away. Bo Mare acting like a veteran, just being consistent, seeming like to know when to take that place, to settle in, and just be smart. He's just being smart about it. And I think Deegan just right over his head, trying to make these points up. He's just thinking, man, I gotta win, I gotta win. I mean, this last week before San Diego, he's on the Swap Moto on one of their podcasts, and he's like, I'm winning San Diego. Like, dude, he's trying to call anything he can to try to talk himself into a win. And I think it's just going to cause problems for him. I saw a comparison. I think it was Jitsi asked or said something about it. It's almost like Kennard versus Villapoto when Kennard won his Supercross title. Villapoto was the fastest guy. This is Villapoto's championship. And Kennard's kind of that dark horse that came out of nowhere and won it. And Villapoto yard sailed, ate shit, and Kennard just stayed consistent and beat him and won the title. And I almost think it's going to be a repeat of this year.
So, okay, real quick,
All
I have a
right.
question for the three of you. Is Deegan putting too much pressure on himself for this Supercross title?
Yes.
I know.
Talking,
Absolutely.
Okay,
I think he's a head
so
case.
because he
talking.
keeps hyping himself up, he's supposed to be the guy, keeps talking shit left and right. He's putting too much pressure on himself, I believe. How do you guys feel about that?
I
I
I think
think
we're seeing a change. I think we're seeing him humble a little bit, and I think he's going to go a little bit quiet. I mean, as soon as he wins, he's going to be talking about the haters and the doubters and shit. But CJ, what do you think? Is this it? Year three, Deegan's not getting this title?
no, he's not getting his title. We're going to see him on a 250 like Martin Davalos into 2030. But he's a head case. I think he's a head case. I think his dad is crazy, and he's a head case. I mean, he wants everybody to think that he's. I don't know if it's the whole like you got to act a certain way on YouTube to get likes or what the fucking deal is, but I think he thinks he has to act a certain way to like to be this I don't know, this like badass metal militia bullshit or whatever his deal is. But I think he's a head case. I mean, he we saw him on the podium. He looked completely defeated, but he I don't know, he just nonstop pops off. And he has the talent. I mean, you're asking me who the title favorite is today. I think it's still Hayden Deegan. and I think Hayden Deegan has to.
Wow.
I think it's put up or shut up this weekend. He has to win this weekend or he's done.
I
But I
agree.
think it's still hard to not. I mean, we're two races in, and yeah, he's whatever he is, 12 points back or whatever. But he's still the fastest guy on the track every time he gets on the track, and he's either the dude's either breaking something or he's going to go and win by 10 seconds this weekend, or he's not winning the title. But I think right now, if you see betting odds, any book is putting Deegan as the favorite. I don't see how they're going to put Julian Beaumer as a favorite when he's. I mean, if you actually watch the races and you see the guys going around the track, Julian, I don't think we saw the best of Julian either. I do think that we saw improvement this week. I thought we were going to see a repeat of A1 where he was going to let Davies kind of run away after he caught up to him, and he didn't. And he talked about that. He said that Millsap said he had a good outing, but you should have won. And I think that I don't know if he thought about that during his race or what, but it seems like he kind of didn't back down like he did at A1, and it was able to force Davies into an error. And I think that Millsaps is really good at that. I mean, Millsaps is really good at the he'll go and watch film and he'll show you kind of the why, like where and how he can be better. Millsaps was never like that raw speed like sensation, but he was just so smart at figuring out what he needed to do. He was able to win that way. And I think that's a really big deal for Juju. And I don't think that we've seen the best of Juju this year either. But I think it'd be I think that we'd be all lying to ourselves to say that if a sports book puts a bet out on the 250 title West, that Deegan's still not the favorite. I think that he would be, but I think he has to win this weekend. He has to win this weekend, or he needs to just shut his fucking mouth and finish second place again.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a must win for Deegan. I will be curious. I mean, to be honest, these first three rounds are tailor made for Juju, right? It's hard packed. He trains out of Arizona. I want to see what is he going to do when you get to, say, Texas, where it's deep, it's ruddy. That shit that Deegan rides in all the time. He hasn't been riding this hard pack stuff in a while. He's been in Florida, so that's what I want to see. I want to see what's Juju going to do when these tracks get a little bit deeper, a little bit more ruddier. But all right, that's it for the 250 main.
Hey, I got a
See,
question
yep.
real quick for you. If you were to think like with Deegan, where do you think right now we're lining up East West Coast shootout with the way Deegan's been riding? Honestly, do you think he gets a? What do you think he's eighth?
I'm not going to say that Deegan's going to keep riding like this, to be honest. I think he had a lot of pressure going into Anaheim 1. Obviously, he went down in the first turn and came back to fifth. Awesome ride. This time, same thing. He's got to get his starts figured out, but I don't think that these 2 rounds is what Hayden Deegan's going to be for the rest of his career. He's going to get it figured out eventually. He has to.
eventually.
So
But I
it's hard to place him as far as East Coast, because I haven't seen those guys either. I don't know what they're going to look like.
So I mean, you got Vial, Kitchen, Hampshire. Those are the three right there. Those are three title threats right there. That if they were West Coast, we'd be talking about those three to be the title favorites.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
I
It's
mean,
hard to say. Like I said, I think a lot of the pressure is falling on Deegan right now. It's really got to him. As CJ mentioned, A2 is going to be a tell-all. He's either going to go out and win and get right back on track and get his confidence going, or he's going to shit the bed, and that's going to be it.
I agree.
All right, let's go into the 450s. Man, this was a hell of a race. CJ, we'll jump right into it. Tell us about the 450 main. What stood out?
I mean, Eli's fucking back, man. I mean, beast mode. I mean, we saw Eli like us people that have been watching Eli for years as we know him. I mean, last year there was a lot of doubters. He's out there riding on some fucking replaced Achilles that these football players can't even walk, and people are doubting why he can't win a 450 Supercross main. And I think he's showing people that he's not fucking around this year. I mean, there's nothing anybody can say when he went around the outside to pass Jet Lawrence and then win the main event. I mean, to be in that stadium, it just had to be insane. I'm sure that place just erupted and everyone's fucking hair was standing up, and it had to be just badass. I know I felt that way just watching it at home. And to see that sand corner when he went into that sand corner, he looked like, I mean, he looked like 19-year-old Eli Tomac, just fucking on rails. And it almost looked like Jet, because Jet was kind of in that corner behind Mookie, and it almost looked like Jet kind of like saw who it was, and you could almost see a light bulb go off, like, holy fuck, like this is happening. And it was badass. I mean, it was an awesome race. Jet definitely figured it out. I don't think we can count Jet out. Jet obviously still knows how to ride. He's starting to figure that bike out. He looked great. He reeled Eli back in.
Mhm.
And they were basically running the same pace there for a while, and Eli was able to get it done, which is awesome. And I don't think that's the only win that we see from Eli this year either. But
How many? How many wins are you going to give Eli?
I think Eli wins. I think he has 4 or 5 wins this year.
Okay. I think that's fair. Justin, how about you?
I was thinking like 6, but I would put his over under like 5.5. I mean, I think 5 to 6, like, yeah, I think that's right there. I mean, like CJ said, Eli just absolutely just. I mean, like I said earlier, he came in with a point to prove right away in that heat, in that main event. He came with it. I mean, he was. I think he's the only guy that's standing up through almost every damn corner. I mean, standing up through the sand section before the ruts through that, or before the whoops. I mean, he was standing up through that whole corner. I think every single lap. I mean, he just. I mean, to have that strength and the fitness to be able to stand that much, I think he was. It's just a statement ride. I mean, Tomac, the shark is back, and you better watch out because yeah, he's got something to prove. And I heard on Racer X they did the post race, and Eli's like, yeah, I never really saw Jet's fender. I knew he was back there, but he never seemed like he came in to make a pass. I wasn't really like, it seemed like he wasn't concerned at all. Like if Jet was to come in on make a pass, it sounded like Eli was ready to go. Like he was ready to, he had a little extra sprint he could do. So yeah, Tomac is definitely going to be a problem this championship. Jet definitely figured it out. They said they did a lot of testing, so that's good. He got a decent start. Not a, he didn't get tangled up like last week, so it's gonna be a great series. I'd love to see where Sexton would have been at if he didn't have his rear end slide out in that rut and go down like that. I think it would have been great. Sexton, Tomac, Jet. It would have been a RC Reed stew, like throwback battle.
Sexton's lucky he didn't end up in a fucking wambulance though. Did you see?
So
Did
I
you
thought to
see?
Oh,
me I
Dylan
thought to me it
Ferrandis
looked like he
almost
pushed that front
slaughtered
end.
him.
He didn't have a rear end slide out. It looked like he pushed that front end.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Sexton before Sexton fell. Did you guys see the
However,
clip
that
where?
being said, I'll take my turn here, I guess. Uh, you know
Yeah,
what? I think that Eli and Jet showed that they're kind of the two top dogs. Obviously, we would love to see where Sexton is at.
Mm,
I
I
think
think Sexton.
Sexton. What?
I
go
think
ahead, Zach.
Sexton. Yeah.
No, I mean, no one else was running that pace. You get like it took. What I'll say about that main event is on Eli's part. I think he needs to push passes a little bit more. Obviously, it's easy to say from me sitting here on the couch watching the fucking race, but um, let's be honest. Kenny and Cooper Webb, they held him up. I think if he gets those passes quicker, he kind of gets a little bit of a gap from Jet, and it's not a so much of a showdown between Jet and him. Because let's be honest, he wasn't pulling from Jet. Jet wasn't on his ass and making moves or anything like that. They were kind of neck and neck, just kind of running their race. And I think they were the only two running that pace. Obviously, once they got around Cooper Webb and Kenny Roxon, they were gone. The two of them. It was a 2-horse race from there. And then if you look at Chase Sexton, obviously he had that qualifying time, so it'd be great to see where he was at if he would have had a good start and ran up front with those boys. Like Justin said, I think it could have been a Stuart Reed Carmichael kind of deal. But with what I've seen, awesome ride from Tomac. I think the guy, he's obviously throwing down and saying he's got something to prove. He ain't going down. He ain't the old guy that's just gonna go cruise around and wave to the fans and shit like that. So awesome ride for him. But I think from Jet, I think it's a little bit of an eye opener that Tomac is here. He's got the speed and he's got the shit. He was he was within 2 seconds of him pretty much that entire race, and there was no bobble from either of the two guys. So I think that that's a great showing from both of them, and that I really believe that they are the two front runners as long as they can keep getting starts. And obviously we've seen Tomac with a bad start. He came back to fifth. Jet with a bad start. He ran a 12th. So, you know, it's kind of going to be a show and tell with what they can do the rest of the season. Aric, I will say, with my initial pick from the very first episode, that Colt Nichols with a bad move down to Suzuki, he has not
Yep.
been having a good showing. He did not qualify for
No,
A1,
he
if
has
I
not.
remember correctly, and he ran what 17th, 18th place in this main event. So
He's got
I
4 points. He's tied with Kyle Chisholm on season points with 4.
yeah,
Chiz is
and
gonna.
I think that's a bad move, even with Benny Bloss getting held up by Vince Freeze in that heat race and having to go to the LCQ and coming back and beating him. That's a bad look. And with that being said, Vince Freeze, I'm going to go on a little rampage here. What the fuck are you doing, brother? Like, get out of the road. You have blue flags waving all over your face, and you still like that's ugly, man. Like, you are the horse's ass of the series, brother. Like, you need to figure that shit out and get out of the way. You know what I mean,
Yep.
running back in
And Justin,
15th place, getting lapped,
what do
like
you
that's
do
ugly.
with Vince Freeze? What
Fuck,
do you do?
dude. I would just punt him fucking to the next country if I could. I mean, holy shit. Watching that race, I was screaming at my fucking TV, what the fuck are you doing? Like, dude, get the fuck out of the way. He almost chopped Tomac's front end, and I was like, if Tomac fucking loses this because of this, I'm never gonna fucking hear the end of it. Aric's gonna say some shit. Well, Jet still won. Tomac's gonna fucking learn how to get around Freeze. Like, I just knew that shit was gonna somehow end up coming, and I'm like, yeah, dude, Freeze has gotta fucking get out of the way. I saw a video. There's like 6 times the flaggers are like in his face, waving the flag, telling him to get out of the way. And he's just fucking, he must have smoked a joint or something, dude. He's just fucking minding his own business, just fucking having a joyride out there. But I guess AMA talked to him and pulled him into the trailer, but I mean, how many fucking times do you do that before you suspend someone or tell them to get it together? Like, black flag him. Why didn't they black flag him?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
no, that
I
was
think
ugly.
he's gotten, I think that fucking douchebag's gotten way too many fucking chances. I mean, he wants to pay people to take out his own teammate. One of these motherfuckers needs to pay someone to go club his kneecaps out in the back of the fucking out in the back of the pits, dude. The dude's a disgrace. I mean, how many times are you gonna go out there? He tried to kill fucking Christian Craig last year,
Yeah.
2 years ago, whatever it was. I mean, Weston Pike almost beat the shit out of him if he didn't have his helmet on. I mean, Jason Anderson and him have had problems. He is just a fucking problem every time he's on the track. And at some point, like he's gonna like he to me, he's the luckiest man on earth. He should buy fucking lottery tickets because I don't understand. He just hasn't picked on the right guy or something because. I think he runs in like that on Justin Barsha or Cooper Webb, and that's going to be the last time he ever fucking does that because they will fucking eat. Justin Barsha will send him into the third deck of the fucking stadium. And I think
Yep.
that needs to happen because I just don't understand. I don't understand how he keeps getting away with this shit. The
Yeah.
guy is like,
Amy's got to step in, especially after the whole him paying someone to take him out. Like, you got to pull his license. Be like, dude, we're going to suspend you. Fucking Stewart got suspended for taking Adderall for a couple of
yeah,
years. Like, pull this guy's license for a couple of years and just like, hey, you know what? You need to like chill. Like, it's kind of now. It didn't impact the race result. Maybe that's the big thing. But I mean, Tomac talked about. He said, "I thought Jet was going to get me because of that." You know,
Did
so
did
it's
you see
just completely
Jet,
ridiculous.
did you see Jet and Tomac in the tunnel walking up to do the press conference? Tomac's throwing his hands up. He was like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" That's all I could think. Like, Jet's like, "I don't fucking know, dude." Like,
Yeah.
come on.
the one thing that we didn't touch on, at least I didn't hear anyone touch on is I think that everyone showed that Chase Sexton tip over, but 2 seconds before that tip over, he almost got his head ripped off by Dylan Ferrandis
Yeah.
because he rolled the triple, and Dylan Ferrandis pulled some crazy Superman hero shit and moved his bike out of the way,
Yeah.
and that was almost the end of that was almost a Trey Kennard break your fucking neck crash right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ferrandis, I don't know how Ferrandis moved his bike out of the way of Sexton's head, But like, if you look at the rear view, I don't know how you can move your bike in the air when you're going straight like that. But he went from landing on the landing to landing off the track to save himself from landing on
And
Sexton.
Sexton didn't even
Yeah,
know he was looking the
that
other
was
way. He
ugly,
was
man.
like
That could
Yeah,
have
looking the
been
other direction.
brutal for
Yeah.
Sexton.
yeah, yeah.
What was that?
Almost a deja vu of Las Vegas there for him, but 10 times worse. Yeah, I put the same thing. Sexton back to his old ways. Yeah, we got robbed of seeing what he could do battling with those top three. I still think it's a three-man race. I'm not counting Sexton out. You look
Yeah.
at the points right now. Tomac's got 42 points. Sexton's got 41. Roxon 40. Webb 38. Jet 32. So it's still very top, but yeah, with Sexton, I mean, that was 100% his fault. No one else got in the way there. He just basically lost the front end there, and that's all she wrote. Um, a couple of things that I put in here, that Roxon versus Webb battle was badass. Those guys were just going back and forth. I also put in here, AP ended up getting a DNF, said that he was sick. Anderson, 13th, illness. And then Prado, I put him on my pretender list from the very beginning, another outside the top 10 performance with a 12th. Um, but other than that, did anything else, any other riders stand out to you, good or bad?
I think I had high hopes for Justin Hill coming into this round. He didn't really. I mean, everyone had these clips of him hitting the quad and throwing whips, and he looked good at A1. I don't know. Wasn't really that impressed with him. Didn't really hear much from him all night. Ken Roxon has impressed me this whole season. I think for the age of Kenny, I mean, it's hard to compare because he's racing the likes of people like Eli Tomac, but Ken Roxon is riding fucking phenomenal, I think. And yeah, I think Sexton. I think it's a Sexton Tomac Lawrence show. I don't think that you can. I think all three of them could win on any given night. It'd be nice to see them all start up front together and see what happens. Um, I think it's unfortunate that Sexton, he just kind of has that stigma about him where I mean, he does tuck the front. I mean, it was a joke for a long time where, look at Stewart's like he's got to tuck the front fucking button on his
Yep.
bars. I mean, he just seems to do it a lot, and I don't know, but it seems like he's gotten it together more this year. So I don't. I think that was. I think we see more of Sexton up front more often. But other than that, I mean, I think it was pretty per usual. I think Dylan Ferrandis getting ninth in front of some of those other guys like
hmm
Justin Cooper and Anderson and Justin Hill. Even I think that was surprising. That was a. I think that's. I didn't think we were ever going to see Ferrandis up there this year. But other than that, I think it was kind of what we expected.
Yeah, and then Justin, going back to the Honda, I think if anything tells me that they're figuring something out with the Honda, it's Hunter's result. Hunter had gotten the fifth, right? We know Jet is good enough; he can improvise and kind of overcome. But with Hunter getting that fifth place, that tells me like, hey, yeah, they are making strides on that Honda.
Yeah, I think Hunter, he got a good start too. I think that was big for it. He definitely, like CJ said, I think CJ said earlier, he looked really good in his heat. I think he qualified better too as well. I think both the Hondas looked better this week compared to last week. Jet and Hunter both kind of looked a lot more comfy on the bikes. They didn't look like they're struggling as much. I think Jet said something about they did some suspension testing, which I wonder if that could have been a big issue with the bike being great during outdoors, just because it was a lot softer. But coming into Supercross, it was, they just didn't have the right settings. They were just way off. They need to maybe go a little bit stiffer, whatever they did. But I think the Hondas looked a lot better this week, both of them, and they looked a lot more.
Yeah, Jet actually gave some really good insight on the post-race conference, saying that the older bike, he was able to be a little bit more lazy because the rear end sat a lot higher, and through the corners, he could kind of lean back a little bit. But with the new Honda, that's not the case. He has to be up at the front of the bike to get it done. There's were rumors that I think after the heat race, he either changed his bars or maybe they adjusted them going into the main. But Zach, to me, I think Jet is still going to get better. I don't think we saw the best of Jet. I do think we saw Tomac at his highest level. I don't think Jet was at his highest level at San Diego.
No, I agree. Obviously, Jet and Hunter both are going to get better as time goes. Obviously, we saw him go from a what was it, 11-12 to a 2-5 this week.
Yep.
So I mean, obviously they're both going to get better. It's factory Honda. They're not going to be messing around. Jet's one of the best in the game. Hunter, he's one of the top guys in the game as well. From just from what I saw this weekend, I definitely don't think that is the best we saw of Jet. But I'm not gonna say that that's the best we saw from Tomac. I mean, Tomac's a friggin'
Mhm.
dog, man. I mean, he got Jet around that outside, and from there on, I mean, there was no pressure from Jet, like absolute, like serious pressure from him, and there was no mistakes from either of the two. I think they both rode a flawless race. So I'm just seeing that. I'm very excited for what the season has to come. Um, so I really think it's going to boil down to, just from seeing that, I think it's going to boil down to the starts, man. And from what I've seen in the past, I just feel like Jet's a little bit better of a starter than Tomac is, just from these last couple seasons. Hate me all you want, whatever. I just think that's what it is. And you know, speaking on that 450 main a little bit too, Jason Anderson went from was it fourth last week to
Third.
12th, third last week to 14th this week.
He's really sick though, I guess. He
Yep.
posted.
13th.
Okay, you know what though? AP's sick, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
He
Hunter
didn't.
Lawrence was
He
sick.
didn't even
Yeah.
finish.
Hunter might not even have rode this weekend, and he pulled a fifth. So
Yeah.
AP, I don't care. I mean, you're factory KTM. You pull your shit together and you ride the bike. Like it is what it is. You're one of the highest paid guys in the industry.
That's Anderson though. CJ touched on it before the season started. Anderson, if everything's going his way, he's going to push. But as soon as he feels like it's out of it, it's not his race, he's just going to say, "Fuck it, I'm just going to coast it in." That's exactly what
No,
he did.
100%. I said that too at the beginning of the first episode. I said he's kind of going to be that guy that falls back a little bit. Like I
Yeah.
said, he didn't get that start, and he's just going to kind of cruise around. It's not his style to push it and force his way up to the front with the big dogs. So I think there was a lot of illness going around this week, A1 and San Diego itself. But I think that some guys showed some true heart, like Hunter Lawrence. As much as I don't want to say he's one of the big dogs, but he's sick. He got freaking fifth place, and AP sick, and he DNF'd, and Anderson sick. He got 14th place. Prado went to the LCQ and still came back 12th,
Yep.
or one position ahead of Anderson, whatever it was. But I just think it shows some heart from who's got it and who doesn't have it. So
Yeah. No, absolutely. Anything else on the 450 main before we talk about these 450 title picks?
we haven't mentioned Webb's podium. I mean, third place. What has he got? 3-4 this year, or 4-3 this season. I mean, I think Webb might be like Zach said. Jet and Tomac weren't really pulling away from Webb and Roxon.
that's not what I said.
Didn't you say Jet and
They
Tomac?
they, they definitely pulled
Nah.
away from those two.
I said once they got around him, they pulled away from him.
Oh,
I
okay.
said
Yeah.
I'll be honest right there from that. Jet and Tomac made it seem like Webb and Roxon were just kind of at a lower level than they were.
Yeah. And they,
Oh,
they are. They
I
are. I don't.
misheard.
Webb
I just
might be able to squeeze in a win here or there, but with these top three, I mean, it's been a quiet, very quiet 4-3 for Webb. He's kind of just been taking advantage of Jet going down the first corner, Tomac getting stuck, took advantage of Sexton going down. He's just kind of sneaking in there, but it just
yeah,
he was leading, right? He was leading the main event for a while, and then these guys just show that they're just so much faster than him.
Yeah, I think Webb. I mean, yeah, he got that podium 4-3. I think that's consistent. I think we normally don't see really Webb until the later part of the season. So it'd be interesting to see. Normally, it's like it seems like even all his championship years, it's like after Dallas. I know Dallas is a little early this year, I think. So it'd be interesting to see what Webb has in store at the later part of the season because it seems like he does do better in the deeper ruts, the more technical stuff where he can really pull his racecraft out. So it'd be interesting with him starting with the 4-3 to see how he does at the later part of the year to see if maybe he's that sneaky, he's just always there, third, fourth, second, sneak maybe a win or two, and just be consistent and, be a threat to win possibly every week. But I think it's going to take a mistake from the top three to really, really have like that runaway win from Webb. And then Roxon, he's really making me eat my fucking words from the preseason. I thought he was going to progress, but man, a second and what do you get? Fifth, right? Roxon?
Fourth.
Fourth?
Mm.
So yeah, Roxon a second and a fourth. It'd be interesting to see if how he does throughout the year. I wonder how much more comfortability he has with that factory transmission. If he feels better riding that bike due to having that factory transmission instead of running the stock one for all these years on Suzuki. So maybe that helps his confidence this year. But yeah, those were the only two other things I really got to add. J Coop's quad after the sand section,
Yeah.
double across the start and quad. I don't know if I saw anyone else do that.
I don't think so. And like we talked about, he made it look very easy. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone else did it. It wasn't really talked about
But
either. But yeah,
did it
super, super
matter though?
impressive.
I mean, he
Right.
It was
Yeah. I mean,
he
no one
throws a,
else
he
did it.
throws a
So
he throws a quad out that no one else is doing, but he still gets 8th or 9th place. Like,
well. I just think
right.
it would
I
be
don't think
interesting.
his lap times were any better either.
Yeah,
yeah,
it'd be interesting if Tomac or like Jet. That's something I would have seen them to pull out in the later part of the moto because Cooper hit it from the inside of the sand section. It wasn't like he railed the outside. So I'm almost thinking, why weren't the guys quadding that? Because it
well,
didn't look like it
okay,
was very
but that
difficult.
also goes back to the fact that the whole main event in the 250 class, Juju wasn't doing the triple quad,
Right.
so
Well, yeah.
it
Right.
didn't matter. Like, there's if why throw a quad if you don't have to throw a quad?
Well, yeah, I
Right.
understand. But I'm just curious why no one else. I don't think anyone else even attempted it. Like that's the.
Yeah. All
I,
right, CJ.
I right real quick. I got Cooper to just to speak on Cooper Webb and him not being up there. I'm with Justin. I think that Cooper Webb is always a slow starter. We never really see him do too much until the series progresses. And honestly, I think a 4.3 is an insane. The two years that he won titles on KTM, he started the season a 5.12 and a 9.5,
Oh,
Mm.
and then he won the title.
Yep.
that's it right there.
I think that he's off to a really good start, and I think that we have definitely not seen the best of Cooper Webb.
No, we know he's been nursing that thumb injury, whatever other crash. So yeah, I mean, I think he's only going to get better as well, especially if he's going to get those kind of starts too and lead some laps. But all right, so let's dive into it. 2 rounds down, 450 title contender, CJ. Who you got?
I mean, uh, I'm Tomac through and through. I think Jet's still the favorite. I want to see Eli Tomac ride off into glory with a title. As he goes and retires. I think Jet's still the favorite. I think that Jet proved to us this weekend that he is figuring it out and he's fast. I'm kind of with you there. I think that was kind of the most dog version of Eli Tomac that we're going to see. I don't know that he's going to be able to bring that every single round. I mean, who knows? He looked like he should have won A1 too. So it's
Mhm.
kind of I could just be speaking bullshit right now, but I do think that Jet is going to improve, and it's hard to think that he doesn't have to improve that much to he didn't need to improve very much to have beaten Eli at San Diego.
Right, Justin. How about you? You still rolling with Tomac as far as your title pick?
Yeah, until Tomac really gives me a reason not to. I think his only other threat is gonna be Jet. I think Sexton. I just after seeing Tomac and Jet this weekend, I just really I don't know if Sexton's gonna be able to be consistent enough. I think he may have that raw speed like we always talk about, but like CJ said, Captain Qualifier. How many times are you going to be able just to put a fast lap down once, but in the main he's going to start and throw it away within the first few laps? So it's going to be really interesting to see what Sexton, if he can be consistent and be up front and get good starts, then he's going to put a push. But I think it's between Tomac and Jet, and I think Tomac's going to somehow pull it out. I don't know if it's a win at the last round. head to head, whoever wins the last race, wins the title. I think it's going to be a close and a battle of those two. I think for Tomac to start this good, this early is kind of dangerous to see. I mean, Jet last year started on fire, but Tomac's never been a really good, starter to the season except the last few years. So I'm really interested to see how it goes, but I think Tomac's still going to somehow pull it together. And if he wins this title and still proves he's the fastest, does he come back next year?
Very, yeah, we'll definitely see about that. Zach, what do you think? Who is going to be your title pick?
You know, I said it at the beginning. I picked Jet for the title favorite. I believe, if I could be mistaken. But
You did.
I think that he's going to come uh, from A1 to San Diego. I saw a great improvement. It's not far off. He's not too far behind the points. I think Eli's coming into it with a red plate this weekend.
10-point difference between the two of them.
10 point. Okay, so 10 points. We still have 16 rounds to go. I think
15, I
that
think, yeah.
yeah, 15. I think it's definitely a dogfight. Don't get me wrong, but with Jet, I think he's going to be a little more consistent. I've seen some inconsistencies with Tomac in the past. You know, he's put up 9 wins and not won a championship with some bad rounds. So I really think it's going to come down to some starts. I don't want to put a heavy favorite on it, but I think Jet is going to sneak it out. With Sexton, I just really believe he's got to be consistent. And from what I've seen so far, with a one and then a crash in the second corner, it's kind of just throwing some old vibes back. And I'd love to see through a battle for the title. Don't get me wrong, I think we all would love to see that. But I feel like Eli and Jet have a little more than Sexton with consistency. Therefore, I will say that I think that Jet is going to prevail. Even though I'd love to see Tomac get that ship and ride off in the sunset. And even if he does
I'm
get that
with you.
ship, Justin, I don't think he comes back for another year.
Right, yeah, you finished off. You finished on top. I'm still sticking with Jet. I think he's still going to get better. I think that was the best Tomac that we're going to see. Now we're going to see that Tomac a few more times throughout the season, but like CJ says, I don't think he's going to repeat it. What Jet did at San Diego, he could repeat that every single weekend. I think, but I think he could take another notch if he needed to. As far as Sexton, I'm not bailing on him yet. Tomac just did the same shit at A1, right? He tucked the front first lap with the last, fought his way back up. So Tomac has shown that he's going to make some mistakes too. Jet obviously had that shitty start. So honestly, all three of these guys have shown that they've had a shitty race already 2 races in. So I'm not counting anyone out yet. But I'm sticking the same there. But all right, so that's it for Anaheim. San Diego. Now we're going to jump over into our bets. Now, Justin, I have a feeling that we kind of got our asses kicked when it comes to the bets from San Diego. But
Yeah.
how did we look with those head-to-heads?
1 second before we jump into the bets. Think about this. Tomac's at 53 wins right now. He's got 1 win this year. Say he rattles off. Shit, he wins 8 total this year. 7 more. That puts him at 60. The King's at 72. If he wins this title with 8 wins and is proven he's the bet, he can hang with them still. Doesn't get hurt during outdoors if he does race outdoors. I think he is, right? But if he does he come back and try to chase 72? I mean, it would take at least 2 more years, but
No.
it'd be interesting to
I
see.
think
But
there's
I
a lot of
think
what ifs.
2 more years, though. It's too much. If so, it'd be Supercross only.
I
Yeah, I
think
don't
it's,
I
I
think
think
don't
there's
he.
a
see him.
lot of what ifs in
Yeah,
there.
I don't see
And
him coming back for that. I mean, the guy's a stud already. He's well off. I don't see him wanting, another possible 12 wins in a few more seasons. You know what I mean? I just don't see
Well,
it.
He
throwing
Yeah.
it
need.
out there.
Yeah, I don't think he's got 19 wins left in him.
no, I don't think so either. Not with Jet still hanging around, Sexton still hanging around. I don't honestly, I don't see anyone in this class getting to 8 or 9 wins anytime soon. I think that 6, 7 is going to be kind of the max, and just kind of keep it consistent.
So
But
then
all
that
right, Justin,
off
dive
the
into those the bets. How we look with those head to heads. I know some of them were kind of ugly.
Yeah, we got skunked by a couple that we thought were going to be locks, like Sexton versus Hunter, and I think there's one
And
more, Cooper and Ferrandis. I
yeah,
think
Cooper and Ferrandis.
that one screwed.
Justin Cooper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Justin Cooper. Yeah, that screwed us. Everything else hit. I mean, we had Tomac over Webb, Roxon over Barsha,
Okay.
Anderson over AP. Anderson AP, that was an easy win. AP DNFing. But yeah, Cooper, I really thought he was going to beat Ferrandis after a good A1. And then, yeah, Hunter beating Sexton. I think we would have had that in the bag if Sexton doesn't wash his front and his rear, whatever the fuck happened. Fucking same shit, different day, different bike, same shit. Yeah, so that really screwed us. I did bet Tomac to win straight up in that cash, so that was nice. Then they had a nationality prop bet, USA versus
The field.
of course, I had to put $17.76 repping the USA win. Got that in,
Stupid.
so hell fucking yeah, America baby. So yeah, that was they're starting to get creative with some prop bets, throwing them in on DraftKings, which is cool to see. This is the first week I saw Underdogs has that available too as well to do a higher or lower on position, which was cool to do. A little bit easier to kind of snag some wins in that. You know, you could kind of got a better choice at picking a lower or a higher. It feels like with some of those guys. We got a lot of good matchups this week as well.
So let's dive into it. You know, what are the matchups, the head to heads that we're seeing this week that we're gonna lay some coin on?
So we actually got 6 matchups this week, which is the most to start out with. They're actually getting a little bit deeper into the field. They're not just doing like the top guys. You got Jet versus Eli. That's going to be an interesting one. Jet's favorite at -145. Eli's +110. I think with it being 8-2, I think Jet would probably be the strong bet on this one. I just think I think Jet's gonna win this week. So that's why I'm gonna pick Jet over Tomac. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
he,
I would agree.
yeah, I think he needs to win. I mean, he's not really at the point like Deegan where it's a must win, but he's getting close to where he needs to put that thing on top of the box to get his confidence back. So yeah, I would bet Jet.
What about you, Zach? You think Jet or Tomac?
No, I think Jets due for one. So I think he's a smart bet this week, especially coming from a 12 to a second. Um, you know, he's just yeah. I feel like he's gonna be the smart bet. He's due, and he'll get one in.
And then our next one, we got Webb versus Sexton. Sexton -160, Webb +124. I'm gonna
Do
take
that.
Sexton.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm going against you there. I'm gonna fade that all day long because I think that Webb. You start look at those 2 seasons that I just brung up with Webb, and you get into that third round. The one season that he won the championships is when they were running Houston and Arlington rounds a bunch. But that third round, he got a win, and then A2 he got a win the years that he won those championships. I think we see
Webb,
Webb for sure on the box. I think he. What's the odds on that? What's the odds on Webb's over Sexton?
he's +124 over Sexton.
I like it. I'm gonna bet Webb.
I'm still
Okay.
gonna lean Sexton. I think Sexton's gonna want to come back and have a redemption ride. He already won at A1. He's gonna come in here with a lot of confidence. I would lean Sexton on that one. Zach, what about you?
Yeah, for sure. I think Sexton's gonna come in, and he's it's kind of I think it's a make or break for him. He wants to show that he's one of the front runners for the title, so I feel like he's gonna come in. He's got the speed over Webb, so he's kind of the smart bet in my eyes.
All right, Justin, what we got next?
After hearing CJ's thought about having how Webb wins 8-2, it kind of is really making me put my bet on the line. I might be something I might stay away from. If Webb's got a pretty good third race, like the way he's starting. So, but then our third one, we got Roxon versus Hunter Lawrence. Roxon's -175 and Hunter is +135. I'm gonna take
Mm,
Roxon. I think Roxon's consistency. I don't really like the odds at -175, but if I had to pick who I think's gonna beat who, I'm gonna take Roxon.
Give me
Yeah.
Hunter on that one.
Ooh.
I'm going
Hunter?
to take Hunter. I think he just got a fifth. I think he's going to get his confidence back. His starts are going to be good. We know Kenny's going to start falling off here soon. Just a matter of when, but give me Hunter on that one.
Ugly.
I
I
think
think I think Kenny's 2 for 2 on the kid. I think he's gonna make it 3 for 3. I mean, I
yeah, I
haven't
All
think
seen
right.
anything that Hunter says he's got anything for Kenny this year. So I that's a tough go in my book.
All
yeah, and
right.
I think Anaheim has Hunter's number. I got Roxon.
All right. Justin, what we got next?
All right, our next one we got Anderson versus Barsha. Anderson -180, Barsha +140.
Give me Bam Bam.
Yeah.
Give me Bam
My
Bam.
guy right there.
I,
I don't know what's going on with Anderson. He could still be sick. Who knows? But give me Bam Bam on that. He's been riding consistent. He's been quiet. I haven't seen him on the screen once, I don't think. But
Yeah.
give me Bam Bam over Anderson.
I
and I
like it,
like Barsha
Eric. I like it.
40. I like that.
Yeah, I like
I
that
think
too. I
that's good
mean,
money. I think he'll
What
win
are the
some.
odds? Is Bam Bam, is he the underdog on that? I would think he would be.
Yeah, Barsha's +140, Anderson's -180.
Yeah.
I just those odds, Anderson -180 after he went 313, and
How
what
much better is he going to get in 7 days, too?
well, that and is he still sick? I mean,
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, how much, like, is he going to feel like better, like, in 7 days worth, or is he still going to be riding it out? And yeah, I think that's good. And shoot, you might want to just put money on Bam Bam just separate with those odds. But nice. All right. What's the next one?
Our next one we got J Coop versus Plessinger, pretty much even money at -115 each.
two fucking scrubs.
J Coop, dude. AP hasn't done shit all season. Give me J Coop until
And
AP
also
does something.
Plessinger, is he still gonna be sick? He couldn't even fucking
What are
finish.
the
Yeah.
odds? What are
Eric,
the
what has
odds?
Jacob done all season? He ain't done shit either.
He's got a couple top tens.
Okay,
AP
I
hasn't
get
gotten in the
that.
top 10 yet.
Okay, where do you honestly think Jacob stacks in this field though? Because I feel like
10th.
that's
10th.
yeah.
10.
Okay,
10th.
right.
10th.
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like AP
Where do
needs
you
to pull
think
his head out
AP
his
stacks?
ass and
I
kind of
think
get his shit
AP
together.
stacks in
I mean, you're doing this for
13th.
America, brother. Trump's back in office. You better get your shit on, or Trump's gonna fire your ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, AP's gonna
Yeah.
be a fired wannabe cowboy.
AP only has a
Like
job because his fucking
cowboy.
character
I
bullshit.
think
Would he
to
want
be
to
honest
be?
on that, that's a toss up, man. I don't know if I want to touch that bet.
Who are you more confident? I mean, AP, what do you get her first moto at? I think he
I
was
don't have
outside top
confidence in
10
either
at
one of them.
A1, DNF, and then, I mean, at least Jake Cooper has put in 2 top 10 rides.
At least he
I
finished
just
both.
don't have confidence in either one of them. I mean, at least
Yeah.
AP's won a Supercross letter. I don't care.
It
Justin
might
Cooper.
ring.
He came
Justin
close. He
Cooper
came
went.
close in Detroit. Was it like not last year, year before maybe?
Yeah,
Oh,
Where he
he
threw it
came close, all
away.
right.
I don't know, man. I that's a bet that I don't want to touch. So, and I don't bet
Justin
as much
Cooper
as you
went.
guys. So,
He
AP
went
sick.
7-11.
huh?
Justin
And
Cooper went 7-11.
okay, and AP's gone, what?
DNF because he fucking sucks and ninth.
Yeah, so, I mean, give
JQ's beat him
me
both
give me
rounds.
Jake Coop. He's finishing races. He's healthy. I have heard it might rain Saturday, but we'll see. But I would still lean Jake Coop.
Oh yeah, nope, JQ. Fucking AP's gonna be too sick. He's gonna catch.
Watch AP come out and fucking smoke his ass.
All right,
Maybe they'll
Justin, what we got next there?
up or something, you know.
What's the next one? Is that the last one?
No, we got one more. Stewart versus Ferrandis. Even money, -150, or not even money, but -115 on both sides. So
A1, Ferrandis didn't make the main. Mookie went to the LCQ. This one, Ferrandis beat Mookie this time, didn't he? Or did Mookie beat him?
I think Mookie
I
beat
thought
him.
Ferrandis beat him. Let me see. I
I
got
gotta
the
pull it up.
results right here. Hold
I can't remember.
on.
Malcolm
You
got
got
7. Ferrandis got 9. Give me Malcolm.
Yeah, that's what I'm taking. I'm taking Malcolm. Malcolm's definitely shown the speed in qualifying. He's shown the speed. Besides, I mean, I'm sure he's probably beat up from fucking almost killing himself at
he's showing the
A1.
speed and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, a couple of locks in there that we all agreed on, a couple that are really a toss up that you can kind of go either way. Maybe keep an eye on qualifying before you lock it in. All right. Now jumping over into A2. We looked at the track layout. It looks like it's going to be a great track. The first time this season that we're going to see two whoop sections. Hopefully they leave it in there.
And they're back to back.
But yeah,
Back
I'm
to back.
excited for the two whoop sections back to back. I think it's going to set up for some good racing and some good passes for sure.
Hey, now thinking about A2, and after you said the track layout, the last time we had a split start and a jump, like an over under on the start, the last one I can remember that won that was Tomac at A1 a few years ago.
He even crashed too.
Even crashed, and I'm just thinking, is the over under on a split start Tomac's recipe?
But here we go
You
with
know what they get
another dumb
what?
start design. The screens what was it, Detroit last year, where it's in a hard 90-degree, and now it's going to be split, so the outside guys are going to have no chance again. Like, I
This
don't know
What's
what they're
okay?
doing
feels
with these
Well,
starts.
one looks
what's
a
the
little bit
perfect start for you?
to where you only got 20.
Honestly, San Diego. Just no split start. It was long enough, a left-hand turn, perfect. But if you're gonna
Got the
like, I'm pretty sure 82 is literally a 90-degree turn
Yeah, but it's
straight
a
into the
lot
straightaway.
longer than Detroit was though. So it makes them for I think the split start definitely gives a gap. If you're starting outside, you're fucked
Yeah,
unless you're
I just think if you're gonna do a split start, it's got to be a really long start, like a Glendale.
It
If it's
looks
just a
like
normal
looking
start,
at
I
the
don't think you
trap
can
Mac
split.
right now. It kind of looks like a long start though. I mean,
because it goes from like center right field all the way to the line. It looks like.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, once they put it together, but
Which
I don't know. We'll
why,
see.
why wouldn't they just like extend a section like going along the back and going behind the start and then doing like a single jump like just a roller or something to launch onto the start and just do one start.
I think
I don't
this is the first time I've seen him set A1 with a start like this. Usually it's always kind of running down the middle, not all the way up against the outfield wall. So that's going to be interesting. And then heading into A2, really the only stories that I can think of, Enzo Loves is going to make his debut with RX Yamaha. That will be interesting. I'm honestly not sure what to expect from him with his injuries, but he has been racing. So Zach, I mean, I don't know. Enzo's back. I'll take it, but I don't have any expectations for him.
I don't either. I mean, I think at best he's a sixth place guy. Uh,
That would be
at,
actually
at
surprising to me.
I
at
think it's top.
best is what I said. So
Yeah.
I put him in this field for sure. He could probably top 10. But fifth, sixth place. That's best case scenario for the guy. I'm not sold on him as much as everyone else is. So I don't
I
really
think
see the hype in it.
I
Yeah.
think Enzo from what he was before, like leaving club, he got that podium. He almost got a win. I think Enzo. I mean, his forearm. I think he should have never got that arm pump surgery or whatever he had. I think that really ruined his career at least, because he finally got that star ride. It would have been interesting to see Enzo on that star bike at
I
that
was
time.
surprised he got the star ride.
I wasn't. I thought he kind of deserved it over some of these other people they're giving, Michael Mosman. I'd give Enzo Lope a star ride over Michael Mosman any day, especially indoors. I mean,
Yeah, but
Mosman,
Mosman actually won races, didn't he?
I don't think Mosman's ever won a race
What's either
indoors.
of them done?
I mean, Lopes at least has got a podium, and he was
Mosman's got
on,
podiums on gas.
but he was on a club bike, up and coming. So him going to Star, that bike does make a difference. The support definitely makes a little bit of difference. Training program of Star, Jeannie Carmichael out there fucking whipping his ass, getting him in shape, and then that surgery kind of fucked him. But it's cool to see him back. I think he's top 10. And I think at top 5, he maybe squeal out if someone gets hurt or not hurt, but someone crashes. I can see him battling like Ryder D for 5th or 6th or Marchbank.
Mosman did have a win. He won San Diego in 2022.
He won it.
Yeah, then he had a second Anaheim 2, he had a third Anaheim 3, he had a third at Seattle, he had a second at Denver.
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying.
Moseman was a consistent podium guy, so he absolutely deserved it more than Lopes based off of
Yeah,
that.
I forgot about that. Fuck.
Yeah, he went on a little run for a minute there. I remember,
I guess
but
he's just hurt for so long. I kind of forgot about.
yeah, no,
about him.
exactly.
I
So, but
forgot.
yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens with Joe Shimoda and his injury. We'll see what happens with Ty Masterpool. We'll see if Drew Adams makes an appearance. But no matter what, they're both going to be great races. 450s are going to be jam packed. It's going to be another awesome weekend. But that is it for episode 3. Thank you for listening. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, on Spotify. But we will see you next week. See ya.
Later, boys.